Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Shalom to the 144,000, the rest of you elect out there, shalom to you all. Anyway, I'm going to title this video, For the Lord is not the author of confusion. And this is from 1 Corinthians 14, verse 33. And then the verse after the 34th verse, let me just pull it up. It says, for Yahweh is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all churches of the saints. All churches of the saints are the churches that came up under the leadership of the apostles. It says, among other things, there was a lot of confusion, but one of the things was the fact that you had women teachers, because like I said in previous videos, the Israelites of Corinth came out of that Greek philosophy. They were Hellenized, so they were like women are equal to men, and men could be over women, and and they showed you that in this Olympics, in the women's boxing, you had transgenders say that they were women. No, I'm a woman, and they let them fight. And I believe I got to go check the news. The two finalists for the gold medal are two men that said that they were women. So that just proves that women and men are not equal as far as your strength is concerned. Men are far more stronger than women. Now you have women out there that could beat a man that's a weak man. A woman that trains and she beats a weak man, but she can't compete with men. If Carissa Shields says she's going to fight as a middleweight among the men, she'll never be champ. I don't give a damn how much training she does. They said, let your women keep silence in the churches, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded to be under obedience, as also saith the law. Now, if you go to the commentary, most of them will lead you back to Genesis 3 and 16. It's either 15 or 16. And he shall rule over you. So it says, for the Most High is not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints. This is why the same church was cursed out by Paul for men. He told a woman that their heads should be covered, and that women having long hair is a natural covering unto them, and a man should not have long hair. Another thing that they got from, and I did a couple of videos on that the reason why they had long hair, because they were Hellenized. So they were coming out of that Hellenization from the Greeks. Was saying about the young men glorified themselves in the hair. But that's why it says the glory of the woman is her hair, not the glory. The glory of the man is not his hair. The glory of the man is the woman that he has. That's why, if you open up a shop, a weave shop or a wig shop or whatever, you're gonna always make money. Mainly in the so-called Jake neighborhood, because they don't have hair, and there's a reason why. They don't even know why they don't have hair. They can't grow hair like the white woman, the Moabite woman, Edomite woman, because that was a curse that was mainly put on Judah, Benjamin, Levite women. And they don't know if and we should be bringing that out a lot more And that'll make them understand that, oh, we got to be the Israelites. And that also proves that these Jays over there in Israel are not the people, because their women can grow hair. So when did that come to pass? I may even go into the commentary. I'm going to be a little all over the place. But anyway, I'm going to come back to this word confusion. This is why I went to this video. Oh, you know what I want to do? Let me speak on this. I was listening to this. Shot fired. Rizza Islam blast the Hebrew Israelites. So this individual, Deacon Hakar, which he definitely, this is his new organization, Genesis. So he broke off along with Hassad and some others, and they got the whole thing. You got the T-shirt, got the logo and all that. That's a whole. They're not Sakari no more. If anything, they're formerly of Sakari. So he was making statement. You can watch the video. I watched up until this point right here, because he was talking about Rizza Islam, because an older Jake that was out of shape came to Rizza and said, "You Rizza Islam," and he went to shake Rizza's hand, and then he held his hand back and he said, "What's your nationality?" And then Rizza said he's an Israelite, and he got kind of, which if you see the brother, you don't approach him like that. You just talk to him and you tell him, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, and we believe that so-called Negroes, and you are a so-called Negro, what the white man called us, came up descendants of slaves and so forth, that you would have to be Israel. See, the brother came the wrong way, so he took the side of Rizza Islam. And so he spoke about it. Like I said, you can watch the video. Let me see if I can give you the point where okay, I'm at 33. Let me come back over here. All right, give me a second.
Now here's the other ingredients. You kill your own people. What about that one?
For chat donation, all praises to the Most High.
Beat your ass and hide the Bible if God watches.
Put them.
Okay, right about here, about 11 minutes in. And he goes, so he actually says that he ran into a cat and found out the guy was an Israelite. But he did say he noticed he was out of shape, diabetic, maybe overweight. And he said there's a lot of the leadership that's out of shape. I'm in relatively good shape. I'm 10 pounds above my high school weight. In high school, I was about 170 pounds, give or take a couple of pounds here and there. It was about 170. Right now, I'm 180. I was 180. Right now, I'm probably 183. So I'm about 10, 11, 13, 10, 11, 12 pounds above my high school weight, and I can drop that easily. And he said the only one that's in shape, seems in shape, is Bishop Nate. Bishop Nate was in his deathbed in 2001. You can't look at a person because he's skinny. There's fat, skinny people out there. Do you know what I mean by that? A fat, skinny person is a guy that looks skinny, looks like he's in shape, but he's suffering from visceral fat. Look that up. That means fat around the organs. So you can be skinny and fat at the same time and out of shape. So, Bishop Nate was not in shape. He was in his deathbed. He almost died during the year of 2021. He came out of that in 2022. And if you go back some years, he had a uncontrollable shake. we call it the MS shake, multiple sclerosis or dementia. He had that shake, which we don't know, but then I might have took medication or whatever the case may be. So you can't look at a guy because the guy's skinny, he's in shape. There's guys that look at his shape that's in tremendous shape. Now, there's certain brothers in the leadership of these Israelite groups that are completely out of shape. And you can see it on them. And yes, you should be in some type of decent shape or the road to getting in shape. You know, eating certain foods. You can't say, well, I'm eating lawful foods, but guess what? You can eat lawful foods all day, but they can be detrimental to your health if you eat too much or you eat too many carbs, too many sugars, and so forth. But anyway, he made a couple of statements. He's talking about RZA, and then he said that all the different camps should come together and we should go on a cruise. I said, what? Is he out of his mind? And what else he said? Oh, he said he made a statement that all the different camps are part of one of the seven churches. No, they're not. None of these camps are part of the seven churches. Because all the seven churches, right? They all taught the same thing. That's a whole nother video, the seven churches. And Peter was a part of it. He was one of the heads, and the Apostle Paul was a part of it too. And it was appointed unto John the Apostle to the Most High spared his life, that the Romans didn't put him to death, but they sentenced him to the Isle of Patmos, which is a Greek island if you do the research. And the Most High set it up where all the apostles were taken off the scene except for John. And there was a reason why, because the Most High had to give him the last book, the book of Revelation, the apocalypse, the apocalypto, which means to reveal, pull back the veil. And it tells you in the first chapter that these books were to be given exclusively to the seven churches. So if the seven churches are now IUCBK, IUIC, this group, Sakari, that group, Genesis, whatever, GMS, they would all have the same understanding of Revelation, at least the book of Revelation. So we know that these different groups are not of the seven churches of Asia Minor, because they don't follow Revelation word by word. If they were the descendants, so to speak, as a group, they would all teach that the MOTB is a micro C-hip. So clearly, they're not part of the seven churches. So you're wrong on that, okay? I'm going to say this too. I'm going to say something good. I didn't say nothing bad about Hakkar, but I'm going to say something good about Hakkar and Assad. Assad was supposedly kicked out. We don't know the full reason. And, we heard Assad, and then next day we heard that he left. And he kind of gave some of the reasons. Now, when they left, they didn't go back into the world. They didn't become Negroes again. They kept teaching, which is a good thing. That's what you're supposed to do. That's a good example. If I'm going to say anything good about them, a good example is that when they either left or got kicked out, they kept teaching. So he came up with a whole different organization. So I'll give him credit for that. He also teaches that the MOTB is the micro C-hip, same with Assad. Where you think they got it from? Got it from GMS. The head of Sakari believes that the micro C-hip is the MOTB is micro C-hip. Where you think he got it from? He got it from GMS. So IUIC is definitely not of one of the seven churches, because the seven churches wouldn't argue about John's revelation, and they didn't even know it back then. I'll use this term. They held the book. That, like I said, that book was exclusively given to the 7 churches. The Most High gave it to them to give to the 7 churches. And when you read the 2nd chapter and the 3rd chapter, doctrinally they wouldn't. Well, they had to get straightened on certain things, but they were messing up. Well, the Church of Nicolaitan, they were totally messing up, you know. But anyway, you can watch this. Like I said, you can start right about here. Because right here, around here, he goes into all the major camps. You get together and hang out. First of all, some of them we ain't got receipts to prove it. But some of them guys sold out. Some of them guys are doing backdoor deals with the devil. And I'm not going to say name because I can't prove it. I can't say, oh, this guy, I saw him go into how can I say, a church, a Roman Catholic church, and there was 2 guys with suits on that looked like demons, and the one leader, this guy, the Israelite group, came out with a smile on his face, and he had a suitcase in his hand or whatever, with a big smile on his face. You know, I can't prove that, but I believe that for you to still teach, here it is, 2024, almost 2025, we're 5 months away to 2025, and this is going to be a pivotal year from now till 2025 and on. A lot of things are going to move quick. But like I said, I don't have the receipts, but there's guys that, look, like I said, it's 2024, almost 2025, and you still teaching the MOTB is what you say it is. If you can't see it, by now, even Apostle Ramlab, he had the recent video that he had, I was watching most of it. Couldn't watch all of it. I had to go somewhere. The title of the video, "How much more proof do you need?" or something to that effect. Where it's overwhelming that the MOTB is a micro C hip, and even Edomites, so-called Edomite, because some of them are Jake, the Bible Belt, Middle America, down south, these crackers as they call them, these Bible thumpers, these born againers, they all say the same thing. They say, oh, it's the MOTB, oh, that's a microchip. So a lot of them are backwards, down south and so forth, but they believe that. A lot of them is Jake too, or Jakes. So you have major groups that have access to the scriptures, that are always in the scriptures, putting topics together, hearing us and bucking up what we're saying. The conclusion I come to is that they sold out, that they know full well that the MOTB is a micro C hip. Even Bishop Nathaniel said they might throw a microchip in there. He said that a couple of years ago, which we caught that. So now you're trying to cover your ass. Like I said, we believe that these, just like Comfy, are you going to tell me, Comfy never sold out? Comfy fucking sold out. And the Most High took his ass out. And that's, the ICGJC is a little church, a little home on the prairie type church. It's not significant. Nobody following them people no more. So forgive me for the rant, but anyway, let me go into this right here. So I'm watching this. I just got up, and I'm watching this, put up by Holy Bible Defenders, which I subscribe to, and I try to watch all the videos because they're short videos, but they go right to the point. See, sometimes I'm long-winded. You don't have to be long-winded. Sometimes the spirit's on you to go long-winded, but you got these 20-minute videos which hits the point. So let me just let you hear it. And this right here is confusion. If someone wants to ask me, this is another group of Israelites. I guess you can call them Yah Israelites. And they know about the IUIC, and I'm assuming that they know about the GMS, the ISUPKs, the Sakaris, the Wi-Fi's, the HOIs, HODCs, and so forth. You know, all these different other groups. Which most of them are confused. They got a lot of things right, but they're confused on certain things. You got to have it. You got to get it right 100%. So it's confusion on both sides. You say which group is confused? I said both of them are confused. Both of them are confused. So let's listen.
Christ and Gamaliel.
I'm gonna have a different answer anyway.
Bro,
Go ahead.
name the two people that talk Paul.
I'm gonna tell you,
Name the two people that
and
talk
I ain't
Paul.
trying to put a distinction between me.
Yeah.
My brothers, they believe different though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't
That's
subscribe.
confusion,
No, it's not
That's
confusing. It's not
confusing.
confusing. I'm telling you, I just don't
Hey,
subscribe to
you know
Paul.
why confusion happens?
Why? Speak on it.
Sin.
Okay.
Sit up.
I mean, it's not confusing, by the way. But I'm just say this: y'all talk about Paul. I don't personally subscribe to Paul. You feel what I'm saying?
Why not? Give me
I got
a
many
good
different.
reason
I
why
got
not.
many different reasons.
Give me a good reason why not.
We go to Galatians chapter 2. Everything y'all just talked about, it was obvious contention between even the brother Yeshua himself, James the Just, and Paul. So what I'm saying is, if we were to put our mind frame historically in that time, some people are gonna be subscribing to. Paul gave birth to a more
1
Gnostic.
Corinthians 11:1.
He gave birth to a more Gnostic thinking.
See this right here, the argument would be over. You know, I would tell them you guys are going off, and I would just take the mic, you know, and I would talk to them because they're Israelites. So our thing is to try to get them to see the right way. They're going off. He said Yeshua, so we know he's not a one-Wester.
Paul's letters was not what Isaiah 8 and 20 was talking about when it said if we
law
speak
and testimony?
right. At that time,
Okay, so where does Paul contradict anything dealing with Christ?
I follow Christ. I don't follow Paul.
Okay, read that.
Okay, so now you got Yah Israelites, which are Old Testament only. Then you got Yah Israelites, which are Old and New Testament, but they're both confused. Okay, they accept the New Testament, but they're still confused. Because you see he doesn't agree with Paul, doesn't subscribe to the letters of Paul. And so does the leader of Sakari. You know, if they say certain parts of Paul we don't accept, but other parts we do, you might as well not accept any of them. Either accept it all or not at all, or throw it all out. So this is confusion all the way around. You got a lot of confusion among these different camps. That's why, and I always say this, I always quote these two scriptures, Ezekiel 33 and 2 Ezra 16, around about starting at the 67th verse, on down to about the 70th verse to the end, which is like 73rd verse. It says, then it shall be known who are my chosen, then it shall be known that a prophet has been among them. Because when that micro C hit, and all of us been doing, you watched recently the last week, a lot of you, the diligent brothers, and that's constantly putting up videos. You know, I'm talking about y'all, the guys that put up videos every day, or 2 videos sometimes, a day. You know, they've been all this past week. There's been a lot of videos on the MOTB, so that's got to be the spirit getting your mind ready for it coming down the pike. And I believe they're gonna move quick when the new president comes in, whether it be Trump or Kamala.
Christ ain't
1
no
Corinthians chapter.
Oh, and this guy, the vice president, this guy, they're probably gonna have to kick him out. This guy, there's a thing called stolen valor, where he said he fought in Iraq, Iran, or whatever he fought in, but he never did. He was National Guard, and it was now it's going around that this guy, I guess in college, he drunk a gallon of horse semen. That's the new thing going around. So this guy's a fucking weirdo. He's a complete fucking weirdo. And Jake don't like Kamala Harris. I don't like the bitch. Jake Jake men. You clown ass fucking woman, black woman, you can stay with that bitch. We don't need you. Like I tell you brothers, you don't need this woman, man, to bring back the nation, brother. You just got such a guilt trip that you got to be with this black. You don't need the black woman, man. And she's feeling it now. And she can't get back into the good graces of the so-called black man. I'm going in so many different directions.
Chapter 11, verse 1. Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ. So, wait.
I just don't.
Well, wait a minute. The Apostle Paul said, be ye followers of me as also I am a follower of the Messiah, right? Why didn't he say Messiah? That's confusion right there. The first thing it said was, and this guy's going to say it. He's going to go into the name. And then this guy from IUIC said, we ain't going to deal in that terminology. They dismiss it, the name. This is confusion. This is what you call confusion. These guys are confused, and the IUIC guys are confused, and none of them have 100% truth. Because, like I said, the IUIC the members of the IUIC are master regurgitators.
Bro, wait.
Go ahead.
Who did Paul say he followed?
What I'm saying is,
stop. Who did Paul say he followed?
He said.
So Paul said, follow me as I follow Yahushua. So Paul, whatever, after anything he said after the first verse is Yahushua is in agreement with it, right? Anything bound in on earth is bound in heaven. Bound in heaven shall be bound on earth. You know what I'm trying to say. In other words, the apostles make an agreement about something. The heavens are in agreement with that.
Hey, he followed Christ. Right. Everybody was saying that though, right or wrong.
So how can you prove that he wasn't?
That. What I'm saying
how can you prove he wasn't?
Just because I don't subscribe to Paul don't mean anything. Y'all subscribe to Nathan. I subscribe to my.
And he said it made a heavy. He said you subscribe to Nathaniel. Everything these guys do is what the leadership says. If Bishop Nathaniel said that the beast was a donkey, it represents the GOP, which is what do you got? The donkey. You got the donkey, and then you got the elephant. One of them represent the Republicans, the other one represent the Democrats. So if he said the beast is a donkey, they'll start teaching it, and they'll defend it. No, brother, it's a donkey, brother. And that's cultist activity.
My teacher, it's just how it's divided out. But go ahead though.
I'll just tell you this.
It ain't no contention between me.
Now you good.
Just kind of said on subscribe to Paul.
It's our job, each and every one of us, as the Israelites.
And this guy's lined up. So they tell you to keep the law, but look at him. He's lined up. You can hardly see it, but they can do that. You got guys with fades. You got this guy, Deacon Ithan. He got a high top fade, brother. Like he just came out like he's a Marine.
By bloodline, to return back to these laws and to measure ourselves up to the stature of Christ.
Or return back to Paul, in your words. No ad hominems though. It just sounded very Sunday school to me, bro.
I'm just telling you what I believe.
I feel that.
You can fill in however you want to fill it in.
I feel that.
This is my point. As we are to return back to being Israelites, the person we want to measure ourselves up to in the fullness of stature is Christ.
Right.
And Christ was
not Paul. Can we bring it back to the Tanakh, please?
So, okay, what about Moses? What about Isaiah? If you followed these men, would you be in error?
No.
Right, because who did they serve at the end of the day?
The Eternal One.
Yeah, they follow Christ, right? They serve Christ, right?
The Eternal One.
They serve Christ, right?
They were Christ. What is Christ by definition? Let's go there.
I'm not dealing with terminology.
Were Christ.
Did you hear that? They're trained not to even tackle that. They said, look, if somebody brings up what's the true name of Christ, change the subject. Don't deal with it. Don't touch it. Get away from it. Let's listen to that again.
Right? They serve Christ, right?
The Eternal.
They serve Christ, right?
They were Christ. What is Christ by definition? Let's go there.
I'm not dealing with terminology.
Were Christ. What is Christ by definition? Let's go there.
I'm not dealing with terminology.
We got to, because definition brings us to a place of discernment.
That was good. Oh, I got to hear that again. He said we got to. And listen to that again. Both of them are confused. Both of them are confused. The IUIC is confused, and these individuals are confused.
What is Christ by definition? Let's go there.
I'm not dealing with terminology.
Word Christ. What is Christ by definition? Let's go there.
I'm not dealing with terminology.
We got to, because definition brings us to a place of discernment.
Because definition brings us to a place of discernment, right? So now would have been the time to cut off that name Christ. Both these groups are lost. Just like I said, both of them are confused. This is just a meeting of confusion. But mainly the Paul bashers. Well, IUIC bashes Paul too, because they let the men have long hair. And that's in the same chapter. The argument about the long hair and the hats.
How can you prove that you fear the Lord?
By performing his mitzvot.
To what?
By performing his commandments.
Okay, so you do that.
For sure.
And what about you? You agree? You agree with that?
1 Corinthians 11 was not his commandment. We can go there though.
You agree with that?
Absolutely. Gotta keep the commandments.
So now watch this. As we strive to keep his commandments, I wanted to bring that out there. As we strive to keep his commandments, this is how we start to understand a level of fear. You know what I'm saying? So by example, are both y'all married?
Absolutely, yes sir.
Y'all married? How many wives y'all have? One?
One.
Y'all believe you can have two?
Yeah, it's not lawful, but it's not fruitful either.
Yeah, I was taught in the school of thought that, but it's just like the same way how this man prefer to eat meat. Where my school of thought go back to Genesis 1:29 from.
The IUIC teaches you can't have more than one wife, except in the time of Isaiah 4. Isaiah 4 is going to happen before the kingdom comes. Okay? It's either law or not. Right, it's either law. On this side, if you have 2, 3 wives, 4 wives, you're going to burn in hell, according to, which hell is not even scriptural. This is something new that the IUIC. Mass confusion.
Between the Father and us, right?
Correct.
So he's not teaching anything against Torah, correct?
Who was he?
Yeshua, Jesus.
Correct.
Not teaching nothing against Torah.
Yeah, he
so in the
just
Torah,
brought more of an understanding to the Torah.
and I agree, according to divorce and other things. But however, he never had a disagreement with head covers. In the ancient Near East, it makes sense for a man to wear a head covering or a tool.
So who taught Paul again?
Jesus, but that's not what you're about to bring out in verse 20.
Okay, now not only are they confused, but they're hypocrites, because it was the brother from the IUIC that asked for 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and 1. So anything you read beyond that, what Paul says out of his mouth in 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and 1 on down, the Lord is in agreement with it. So these guys say you're not supposed to have hats on, right? But then it also says it's a shame for a man to have long hair. And please, none of you bitch ass niggas come up and tell me, well, that really ain't long. You're gonna play that game. Well, what's really long? That's why the Most High, like I said, he gonna get rid of these demons, man. The Most High set these demons up anyway to be a stumbling block. Now, when Comfy came on the scene, the so-called God sent comforter, what happened to him? That was the biggest organization out there. What happened to them? I call that the Little House on the Prairie Church.
Corinthians 11, that context is not what it's truly talking about. Because in verse 16,
yeah, let's read that.
Verse 16, it says that if we have any such contention in the church.
We was going to read this earlier. We didn't read this. I want y'all to pay attention to this. Read this.
1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 37. If any man think himself to be a prophet or spiritual, let him acknowledge that the things that I write unto you are the commandments of the Lord.
So Paul was very simplistic in what he brought forth.
Now now you know what? He just read. Let me listen to that again. Let me listen to that again.
We have any such contention in the church.
We was gonna read this earlier. We didn't read this earlier.
Why you guys always, don't you got something better to do? You always getting on the IUIC. You always find something wrong about the. Are you listening to the tape? The guy is saying the importance of Paul. Paul followed Yahweh. He said, "Follow me as I follow Yahweh. Whatever I say, that's Yahweh is in agreement with it." But you can have long hair. But you can't pick and choose out the scriptures. You can't cherry pick the scriptures, man. So these both of them are confused.
I want y'all to pay attention to this. Read this.
1 Corinthians chapter 14 and verse 37. If any man think himself to be a prophet or spiritual, let him acknowledge that the things that I write unto you are the commandments of the Lord.
Wait a minute, who's speaking here? Paul. Paul said, if you're a prophet or spiritual, let him acknowledge that the things that I write unto you are the commandments of the Lord. So did not Paul say, it's a shame for a man to have long hair? So guess what? That's a commandment. Go to the first verse. Follow me as I follow Yahweh Shai. And like I said, this, let me do this. See if I can, okay there. Anyway, let me open this up. Look at that. This man's clearly, he goes to the barber shop. He said, cut this down. Give me a little fade over here. Cut this down, Lord. Because that's a style among Jake. Then you got some guys in the IUIC, they got long dreadlocks. Cornrows down, you know what I'm saying?
So Paul was very simplistic in what he brought forth.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha HaKwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to you, brethren, you fellow believers of this faith, and shalom to the elect. Anyway, this video is kind of jumping around. I did it earlier, but I had to go back and redo it. It's just a lot. But I'll just try to jump to the point.
Yeah, a lot of confusion. A lot of confusion. This is a lot of confusion.
Points and to the topic. The one brother on the left who said the name or something like that. We need to go into the name, and then you sure heard IUIC just jump from it. Let's go to Joel 3 real quick before I continue the comments.
Yeah, when he said let's go into the name, they didn't want to have nothing to do with it. They quickly changed the subject. Okay, the guy said we're not dealing with that terminology. In other words, we don't want to even deal with that. Well, what did the Apostle Peter say about when someone asks a question? Be ready to give an answer.
Sorry, and go into what they've been saying. Joel 3 and 2, 2 and 32. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. That name, that's Yahweh Shai right there. Right? Delivered. Right? The deliverer. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord have said, and the remnant whom the Lord shall call. That's what we speak at Great Millstone, the remnant. But I want to focus on here, the call on the name of the Lord. Right? I want to focus on that for a second. Because when that word name only connects you to what you're talking about. For instance, if I say, what's the name of your car, and your car says a Toyota Corolla or Avalon, well, you got to get the name of the car. But if I say your car has a nickname, right, or what do you call your name, and you might say she's fast, she's sweet, or whatever, or even a boxer, his name is the Power Puncher, his name is Swift and Move, right? But then you have that word name that connects you right here when it says he who call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. Right, I did lessons on that. Right here, it says in Isaiah 9:6, this is scripture they quote, for unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government, right, shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince, Peace, right? But you don't see any of this capitalized, right? That's why this is just titles. Nick tried to say this is not titles. That's why it says that'd be confusion for the Lord to have that many, biblical names, far as who to call him. That's confusion, right? So his name should be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God. But when you go to Joel 2:32, right, it says, whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord, and that's in all caps, all capital letters, man.
It's also in Romans 10:13 on down. It speaks about calling on the name. How can you call on the name if if the Most High didn't send somebody to teach you the name? And you go back more than 20 years, Bishop Nathaniel and Elder Bunyamin, they did a video, about a 2-hour video, going into detail of the name of the Father and the name of the Son. They had books. So what happened? First thing that's gonna pop in my head, they did a backdoor deal. That's the first thing. You were teaching it one way 20 years ago, but now it's not important. What happened?
It emphasizing strength and power. The name of the Lord. It ain't Isaiah 9:6. His name should be called this. Name should be called that. Of course, his name is all those titles. We could say his name is the universe. You could say that. But when it says the name of the Lord,
the reason why these guys from the IUIC said we're not dealing with that terminology, because they were trained to not deal with that. Don't argue about the name. If somebody brings up something concerning the name, let me do this. Give me a second here. You come up here. Be ready to give an answer. Bible. That's what I want. 1 Peter 3 verse 15. I don't know what version this is. But in your heart set apart the Messiah as your Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. And that's obviously not of the King James. I believe this one is King James. Always be prepared to give another version. Give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have. Do this with gentleness and respect. So the man brought up the name. Oh, we ain't dealing with that. That's going off. You're not going abiding by the scriptures. Oh, we ain't dealing with that.
you have to call on the name of the Lord. But anyway, that was another video. I just wanted to touch on that. I also want to go into the fact that these brothers, they went into Paul and the one wife. I don't know, they're jumping around, but it seems that both of these groups aren't really following Paul. Now we know, I don't know if that guy follows divine prospect, but let's go to 1 Corinthians 11. You know, it's crazy how none of these groups believe in Paul, only some of the things. Oh, when it comes to let your woman keep silence in the churches, she is not permitted to teach. And I know it says, because also saith the law, set a man over the congregation. But she's not permitted to teach. She's supposed to dress in modest apparel and everything else. But they don't accept it all. Okay. 1 Corinthians 11, verse 3. This is something I heard with the women who the SIP teachers have promoted women teaching with their heads uncovered and claiming their hair is given for a covering. They don't even understand what that's talking about. But anyway, we're going to read that. 1 Corinthians 11, verse 4. Every man praying or prophesying and having his head covered, dishonor of his head. These guys said, which the ones on the left, the bigger Jake in all black, he kind of believes in the letters of Paul, except when it comes to the covering of the head. You see what they do? They all make an excuse. A sinful man will find an excuse towards his will. Now, the other divine prospect follower, I'm not sure if he follows them, but they all kind of got that same look, same spirit. They don't believe in Paul, right? But certain things that's in there, they'll figure it out. But he doesn't believe in it. So he doesn't believe in Paul, but the other two do. But they all kind of came together. But as IUIC said, I agree with that. That's pure confusion. To me, the whole video is confusion. You know, anytime you're rolling with Christ. But anyway.
Yeah, both of them are completely confused.
Every man praying and prophesying, having his head covered, dishonor of his head. How do you get around that? But every woman that prayeth or prophesying with her head uncovered, dishonor for her head. So how do you get around that? So is this talking about, okay, take off the weave, or take if she don't have a weave on, or if she doesn't have her head balded, or whatever. Remember, the scripture said the daughter of Zion shall be balded anyway. Our women balded anyway, the majority of them. So they don't really have a hair for a covering, unless you want to count it as a weave. But anyway.
Well, a weave is a covering because it's not your real hair. So if you cover it with weave, you good. That's your covering. You don't got to take. You can go to sleep with your covering on. Like this woman. This is weave right here. That's weave. Black women, the Israelite women don't realize why she can't grow her hair. And they go overboard with it. They'll get the weave. It'll be down to their ankles. You know, because they want to compensate for the fact that they ain't got no hair. And everybody knows in the hood that shit ain't your real fucking hair. That's plastic, you know?
Let's go to verse 15. Is it verse 15? 1 Corinthians 11 to 15. Let's go to 11 and 5. Well, let me go to 11 and 15. And I'm going to read the scripture that they read. But if a woman having long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given to her for a covering. But up here it says, right, a woman that praying or prophesying with her head uncovered, dishonor for her head. So if you're a woman praying or prophesying with your head uncovered, all it's saying is dishonoring your head. Right? But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given for a covering. That doesn't mean you prophesied with your head uncovered. I mean, praying with your head uncovered. This is clearly saying that. And what he was going into, because you had the daughters of Zion, right? You had us following those different customs. So you wasn't supposed to shave your damn hair as a woman. And in the same verse, he said, does not nature teach you that if a man have long hair, it's a shame unto him? And all these guys got long hair. At least the IUIC, they have long hair. So we go up here, 11 and 5. But if it says, but a woman who dishonoreth her head, this is the NLT. But a woman dishonoreth her head if she prays or prophesies without a covering on her head. This is what it says after. For this is the same as shaving her head. So clearly she had to have hair on her head, and if she prophesied without the covering, it's the same as her having no hair on her head. That's what it's saying. So clearly in this verse, a woman who even has hair on her head, if she prays or prophesies without her head covered, it's a shame unto her. So the reason why the scripture, 1 Corinthians 11 and 15 says that, it has nothing to do with her praying and prophesying. All it's saying is the glory is her hair is given to her for beauty. That's all it's saying. Moving on. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 7. 1 Corinthians 7. I think it's 11. Remember, this is the teachings on marriage. Right? This is the teachings on marriage. Now, this is tricky. Right? Well, what would happen to the churches if Paul didn't come in and straighten this out? Now, this group said you can have, what about one wife? Basically asking them, can you have more than one wife? This group teaches, I think they made up their own commandment, the IUIC, that a man only supposed to have one wife, because in captivity, a man could only have one wife. I never read that anywhere. In fact, in the time of Exodus in Egypt, I think when Joseph died, when the Egyptians of Ramses, it was his King Ramses or Pharaoh Ramses II, I believe that was his name, when he put hell on us and we multiplied while we were in captivity. How do we multiply exceedingly with one wife? I don't know. Somebody had to explain that to me as well. So anyway, this is called the marriage, right? This is 1 Corinthians 7 and 10. It says, and unto the married I command, yet not I. Well, let me go up. Yeah, I command, yet not I, but the Lord, going into the law. Let not the wife depart from her husband, but and if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled, meaning brought back. This proves in Ephesians 2 and 16 the reconciliation can only be for Israelites.
Yeah, which Vocab Malone said that doesn't mean that, reconcile. Re mean back to. You have a woman, y'all break up, y'all come back together, that's reconcile. If you meet a woman for the first time, y'all get together, you can't use the word reconcile. So that's why vocab is a big joke.
Because you would have to be part of the covenant in order to be reconciled once you lost your way. Anyway, that's another video. To reconcile to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. Right, because...
So, and another thing, the IUIC teaches that if you come into the truth as a man, your wife, they're going to ask you, do you got a woman, brother? Yes, I'm married to this woman, blah, blah, blah. Well, she never come to the school, which is none of your fucking business, whether you bring your wife to school or not, or your children, because you teach your wife at home, as Paul said. But they'll say, well, if you have a wife that's an unbeliever, you got to cut her off. But we're going to give you a 6-month window. I think they changed it to a year. And they taught that bullshit back right around the time, a couple of weeks before they kicked us out of school. They said, what did they say? No. It was after the fact. Even in Bishop Nathaniel called me, he had my number. This was 2002 maybe. 2002 I would say. And he had my number. We had the old school flip phones. He had my number. And that was a year before he started the IUIC. But he was saying that they were teaching that if you have a woman that's an unbeliever, even if you're legally married, if she don't believe, you got to cut her off. So they had a council on it, and all them guys, I believe they went home that same night and they just left their wives. The only one that stayed with his wife is Bishop Nathaniel's wife, because she was believer. She came into the One West the same time that he did. I remember seeing her. All right.
They were getting rid of the women, and they would divorce them, unmarried, for pesky reasons, and getting rid of them. They didn't want to. It was all kind of madness going on in the church. We've seen a lot of this in some of these schools. And
yeah, the Greeks, they were wife swapping.
Old One West. But it says, but to the rest speak I, not the Lord.
Oh, and by the way, this is not even a month ago, maybe a month ago, that the bishop was teaching a Saturday class, and he said, he was talking about us. He said, them apostles, they get women and they swap them. They have sex with the one and swap women for the other. And that's when I heard that, I said, this guy is so they probably told him. The Illuminati probably told him to say that.
I read a little commentary on that, but the rest I speak I, not the Lord. If any brother have a wife that believeth not. And this is why they was mad, right? Because really, according to the law, you would have a believing husband and a believing wife. But because of our expulsion, so to speak, and our being separated and Hellenized, right, by, what's his name, Antiochus Epiphanes IV, I believe, then you see what happened. So what would happen if Paul said, okay, all the believing husbands and all the believing wives, get rid of your partners if they're unbelieving. But you know who does this? The IUIC. Yep. This is why I'm doing this video. Because the IUIC say they don't really teach. They believe in Paul. They believe in the letters of Paul. But they tell you after 6 months,
see, that confirms it. Okay, we know that for a fact. So they really don't believe in Paul. They cherry pick from Paul. We like what we say over here, what he says over here. We don't like what he says over there. So we're gonna pull this out, which is complete. Like I said, both of these groups are completely confused. Anyway, let me do this. Okay, let me click on here. Important to go to the blue letter. Blue letter tells you a lot. We also use it as a sort of concordance. Confusion. Let you hear it.
Strong's G 181. Akatastasia. Akatastasia.
Akatastasia. And I'm going to go into the root of that word in a minute. Instability. A state of disorder. So as much as organized as IUIC claim to be, they're really in a state of disorder because the scriptures don't the math ain't mathing. Disturbance. Confusion. I can easily get them riled up. I'll go with a fitted on baseball cap, tip to the side or tip to the back, and they're gonna say, "Well, look, you got to take that hat off because get the scripture, brother." 1 Corinthians chapter 11, I believe that's verse 3. And then I can say, "Well, wait a minute. I'm not praying or prophesying, so I can keep my hat on." No, you gonna take the hat off for the Most High? Or since you mentioned the Most High, what's the Most High's name? You see? And what's his son's name? If thou can tell. If thou can tell. So it means disturbance, disorder, confusion, instability. So the IUIC is not stable, and this Yah Israelite group ain't stable either. It says tumult, which means fight. Confusion brings fights. Debate is nothing but confusion. We don't got to line up and debate nobody about something. I believe that the nations can make it. Let's have a debate. Let's say you give me 50,000 and we can have a debate because you're wasting my time. Time is money. So now we go into the precepts, New Testament, Luke 21:9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, that's confusion. Hey, that's what's happening in this country right now. Oh, this guy's plane, Trump had to land his plane because he had problems. But they're saying that was another, they messed with his plane because they do maintenance on these planes to fly them. Every time they fly them, they do maintenance. So they're saying the story is now somebody messed with the plane so that the plane could crash. And then, now they're still talking about they're going to try to take them out again. So the question is, what's in the ether is they rigged the plane so the plane could crash. Now, if the Most High wants him to be the president, the Caesar, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do. He's going to be the president. And ultimately, it's the Most High that sets up men and take down others. It says, okay, this is for the Most High, not the author of confusion, but of peace, as in all the churches of the saints. So all the churches, the 7 churches, are going to be in agreements. For 2 Corinthians 6:5, and strifes and imprisonments and tumult. Tumults means fights. And labors and watching and fastings. 2 Corinthians 12:20. For I fear lest when I come, right, when he comes, because he had to leave to go to these other churches. See, we don't got Paul don't have to do that now, providing who Paul is. All you got to do is do a YouTube video. Back then, you had to physically go to them churches, or if you couldn't make it, you would write letters, which is epistles, and you would have person read the letter, and then it'll be addressed. This is from Paul to the Israelites in Corinth, or Paul to the Israelites in Macedon, or Paul to the Israelites of Ephesus and Colossus and so forth. It says, for I fear lest when I come, I shall not find you such as I would, the way you're supposed to be, meaning being in order. And that I shall be found unto you such as ye would not, lest there be debates, which is confusion, right? Envyings, meaning disorder, wrath, strife, backbitings, whisperings, murmurings, swellings, and tumults. Tumults mean fights. Debates are tumults. A strife, some preach Yahushua for envy and strife. A strife is a debate. You want to have a debate with this guy, you want to have a debate with that guy. It says, James 3:16, for where envying and strife is, or debates, there is confusion and every evil way. See, I can say that the IUIC is going off on the long hair thing, and if they can't say, well, we're gonna have a debate on it. What's there to debate? It's right in the scriptures. That's like somebody saying, well, I believe the Lord was a woman. Why would I sit down and have a debate unless you're paying me $100,000 to waste my time? My time costs money. And all throughout the scriptures that the Heavenly Father is a man, his Son is a man. The Holy Spirit, you can be justified in saying the Holy Spirit is come to the feminine spirit, which is from the Most High. So, anyway, you know what I'm gonna do? Let me cut this. I think I said enough. Shalom.